Hello, welcome to my video, my learnings about my experience in the Marathon des Sables 2023. It was a very special edition. The dropout rate was very high, 30%, much higher than the usual, especially due to the heat wave we faced during that week. Most of the days we were above 50 degrees, so it was very tough to manage the heat. I was able to finish in the mid-pack. We started 1085, we finished 765, and I was able to finish 394. Feet, blisters infection, the biggest concern prior to the race. I did bought anti-friction cream available at the MDS website, but there are plenty of other creams that you can use. So I did my pre-race prep. The last 4 weeks, every day, every night before I go to sleep, I was putting some cream on my feet, putting the socks in, I was sleeping with the cream. So I did get all that feet preparation prior to the race. I did the same at the bivouac. At each night, I was putting some cream on my feet, putting the socks in, and I was sleeping with them. I was not putting the cream, anti-friction cream, just before the race, just before each stage in the morning. I was not doing that. Apart from the cream, I was doing at night. So each morning before starting the stage, of course, I was putting some scotch in the most critical areas on my feet. I did got a blister, just one blister in the very first day. I went to the doctor's tent, I treated that, and afterwards no more issues with that blister. The blister treatment is something that you can do. So they show you the technique, and it's a very easy one. So you need to have a syringe and a needle and some eosine. So you insert first of all some eosine in your syringe, and then on the blister you just insert the needle. You remove some of the liquid you have you remove the liquid you have on your blister. So in order for that liquid to get mixed with the eosine, and then you pour again all that eosine together with the blister liquid inside again the blister. So that will gonna avoid all the infection. And then you're gonna put some scotch, and after a while it can blow that blister, but at least you have that eosine inside, you will not get infected. So feet preparation, this is what I have done, and it worked very well for me. Also for the feet, of course, the gaiters are almost mandatory in order to avoid the sand to enter. So I did get those from Red Light, and there are some other brands. They also have one. What you need to make sure is you need to stitch the Velcro, not only glued, but also stitched, because with the heat, the glue maybe sometimes starts to unglue. So with a stitch, so I've done that by a professional, and I had no problem with the gaiters. So for the food, I also ordered prior to test different type of dehydrated food. I used a French website, lyophilisé.fr. They already have kind of a pre-packed packages for MDS and off MDS. So I did order one pack prior in order to test, and then based on the food I liked it the most, I just ordered food by food. It was time to remove them from those bags because they take a lot of space, and put them in those IKEA Ziplocker bags, and of course noted down how many calories there was in each meal. I didn't get any control during the MDS, but some people do. So make sure you have those 2000 calories per day. One thing I learned for the Marathon des Sables is not taking sugary food. While I tested at home mueslis for the breakfast, mueslis were working quite well. After the third day of the Marathon des Sables, I was not able to ingest sugary food. If I'm going a second time, I'll only take some salty food, pasta, couscous, those things. They were going very, very well, but not sugar. If I'll go a second time to the MDS, I'm not sure if I'm gonna take this titanium mug to heat the water to mix with dehydrated food. Maybe again it was because of the fact it was so hot during that week, but you can do your dehydrated food with just normal water without being heated. So one other thing I learned was the type of food you take during the day. So I was still taking a lot of bars, gels, and so on, not as much as natural food, and I did start to suffer after the third, fourth day. I did puke on the fifth day because your digestive system starts to get a little bit overwhelmed with all the chemical foods. So peanuts, M&Ms, they are not natural, but the ratio between calories and weight is very high. How can I get everything inside this backpack? So I did get the WA backpack, and at the end of the day I was able to put everything inside. I didn't have any problem with the WA backpack, so for me it worked fine. My second biggest struggle of the MDS was the weight of the backpack. Already on the first stage I was suffering on my back because of the weight. Again, my backpack was very heavy, 11 kilos, and speaking with my colleagues, looking around, so it's easily to go to 7-8 kilos, very easy, and it makes a huge difference. Where can we gain weight? Mattress. I don't need a mattress. I got rid of my mattress on the long stage, and I still was able to sleep quite well. Just make sure when you arrive at the tent you remove all those small rocks you have underneath the carpet, and then since there is always a carpet which is quite thick, you are able to sleep quite well without a mattress. So I will not take any mattress. My sleeping bag was just a normal sleeping bag I got at Decathlon. The volume is quite okay, but they are much smaller and lighter. So mine has 600 grams, and there are some other ones in the market at 300 grams. More expensive, but I think it deserves the cost. So what were the things I struggled the most during the MDS this year? The first one was the heat. It was a special edition, so it was very hot, but it was very tough to manage heat. And the weight on the back of the backpack, I basically walked most of the way. So I did run around 10% of the time of the total distance, and I was still able to finish in the mid-pack. Already in the first stage, the heat took a toll on me. Eventually I was not taking enough salt pills, so this is something that they have since the day one. So they give you a pack of salt pills that you need to ingest. For every bottle of water you need to take at least one pill. I thought I was ingesting enough salt pills, but apparently not. So already in the very first stage I did get problems with the heat, so I had to stop. I started to feel dizzy. I had to stop like 4 times. It was tough. It was tough to go through the first day, and then all mentally, psychology, you start to think it's only the first day. How can I gonna finish already the first day? And it's still a long way to go. So salt pills, manage the heat. And then also to drink, because it was so hot during that week, especially after the fourth stage, the long stage, the water inside the bottles were so hot that it was very difficult to drink. And it was only after the long stage that I learned the technique, the local technique in the desert. So what you need to put is to put a tissue to cover the bottle. So since I had an extra pair of socks, I did put extra pair of socks here, and then I was wet them with the water I have, with the extra bottle of water I had, and the fact that with the wind, with the evaporation of the water on the sock, on the tissue, it requires energy, so it's cooling down. It's going to pick the energy inside the bottle of the water, so it's cooling down the water very, very nice. It works very well. So as a recap, for my experience in the MDS 2023. What I was very happy about, what I think it worked well, was the fit. The pre-preparation I did 4 weeks in advance prior to the MDS, putting the anti-friction cream so the feet are very well moistured. And then at the end of each day, putting the cream before going to sleep, not in the morning, just before each stage starts, but in the evening before going to sleep. What I think it also worked quite well, poles. I was having poles, so at my level, so in the mid-pack level, I think the poles, they make quite a difference while walking on the sand, while climbing all those sandy jebels. During the long stage, at night, it was a sand all the way, so actually poles, they helped quite a lot. What else worked very well? Unfortunately, I only learned that at the end mainly. It has that technique of putting that sock around the water bottles and wet those socks very well, so they are very, very humid. So when evaporate, it can cool down the water inside the bottle. So that is a huge difference, I can promise you. It makes a huge difference. It was my best learning from the Marathon des Sables. The things I'm gonna do differently: not taking a mattress, changing the sleeping bag, taking a much more smaller one, less heavy, much less food, so stick to those 2000 calories, and much lighter food with a good ratio of calories and weight in order to reduce the amount of weight on my backpack. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments and any extra questions, don't hesitate to put a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to answer to any of questions. Thank you. Have a good one.